Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Call of Duty Warzone. They updated the map a bit. They have linked Call of Duty Warzone with Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. It's all linked now, which means you can use the Black Ops weapons also in Warzone and so on. Next to that, they updated the map a bit. We have a Rebirth Island now. Although it's not in open world, you cannot go in Warzone and then go from the Verdansk area to this island or so. No, it's sort of works with a separate playlist. You can get to this island more or less. Of course, a new island, that means that they mess around a bit, and they also come up with a Easter egg. If you solve the Easter egg, you can go to headquarters, run into a yellow door which requires a 8-digit code. And if you find the code and you can open it, you can go in there, you can find all kind of loot, like usually with these Easter eggs. And in this room you can find the Red Room blueprint. It's a Milano A21 SMG blueprint, which is a Black Ops weapon. And you can find it there on the table, sort of similar as with the metro station Easter egg and the stadium Easter egg and bunker 11. You can even go in with a team, although you will only find one weapon. As soon as you pick it up, you unlock the blueprint for you, which of course means that you can put it back down by picking up your weapon. That's sort of how it works. You pick up this thing and then it puts your weapon on the table. So by picking it up, you unlock it, you pick up your weapon again, you put the Red Room blueprint back on the table. Then your teammate can pick it up, he can unlock it for him, put it back on the table, and then your second teammate can also pick it up, and all three have it unlocked. That is, of course, the easiest way if you play with a team. Why do I say if you play with a team? Is more or less because it's the only way to do it at the moment. The only way to get on the island is if you play Rebirth Resurgence trios. So you can go in there with 2 friends, or you can play with some randoms. I do advise you, even if you do this thing by yourself, team up. Put this thing here, squad fill, put it on fill. Those guys that you're playing with might not know what you're doing. That's sort of how I did it. I did it solo, but I did fill up so that I had like 2 randoms. Because if you play solo, if you put it on don't fill here and you go solo in this map, it is a battle royale. If you get shot, it's game over. If you fill up and you go in with a team and you get shot, but your teammates are still alive, then you respawn back in after a few seconds. So it sort of gives you extra life if you play with, even if it is with some randoms. Now, how do you get the codes? Pretty simple. Is you need to find this suitcase that you see here on these pictures, and next to those suitcases you will find 3 pictures. You need to go to the location of those 3 pictures. You will be able to find parts of a code, and if you put those parts together, you get an 8-digit code. That's all pretty easy, and that's at least how it sounds. The reality, on the other hand, is a bit different. First of all, the suitcase. The suitcase can spawn in 11 different locations. It only spawns in 1 every single match. So that's number 1. You're gonna have to find that spot. In my case, what did I do? If you go into the pre-match and sort of you have that minute where it fills up the server with players, and so it's usually about a minute, and then it puts you in the plane, and then the actual game starts. But that pre-match, that 1 minute pre-match, in the last 4 or 5 seconds of that match, the suitcases will spawn in already. So what I did, for instance, I went to location A, which is in the security area on the map, and you have that building there, and next to that building, it's over here, as you can see, next to the water, between the water and the building, and that's where it will spawn. So what you do is, in those pre-match, you go there, you try to hang out around there till the last 5 seconds of that pre-match, and you watch if it spawns in or not. If it spawns in, then you know that that match, the suitcase will be on location A, and then you have to go there when you jump out of the plane and just take a look at the 3 pictures that you get. If it doesn't spawn in the last 5 seconds, then you know that it will not be there. And why do I go to A? Because that is sort of a bit out of range with everything else. So if you want to know if it is A or if it's not A, in both cases you want to know it. If it's A, yeah, that it would be convenient, because then means that the suitcase will be there that much. If it's not there, then it's got to be one of the other locations. And you have, it goes from A to K, obviously, because there are 11 spots where it can spawn. There is, for instance, B over here, which is west of the construction site. You can spawn there, then you can run to C, which is not that far. There you will also be able to find an ATV there, so you can use that vehicle then. And then you can check D, E, F, G, H, I, that's all possible. Once you have a vehicle, you can move around pretty fast. It's just a matter of finding the suitcase. What I usually do is I check A. In my case, I checked A in the pre-match. It was not A, so I knew it was not A. So it was going to be one of the other 10. And then I drop in I. I sort of skip J and K because I've noticed it doesn't spawn that very often. Because obviously this is not going to go from the first go. You're going to have to do a few tries. So I went to I because between E and F is an ATV. And I, H, G and F is not that far apart. So you can, if it's not I, you can check H, you can check G, you can check F. Take the ATV if necessary. And then you can check E, D, C and B. And then you know it's not this whole lot. So then if the suitcase is still not there, then it gotta be J or K. In my case, I sort of had to do the long trip because it was not A. I know that from the pre-match. I dropped in I couldn't find it. I had to go H, G, F, take the ATV, E, D, C and B, and eventually it was B. So yeah, of course, if you do this with a team, you can have somebody dropping in B and he can check B, C, D and E. And another guy can check F, G, H and I. And then you have one checking J, K and A or something. It's gotta spawn somewhere. One of those 11 spots. That is already, of course, something you need to learn. So you need to go into that map, sort of going by this picture and sort of try to figure out where everything is. A is pretty clear. It's next to the water, between the water and that building here. It's pretty large building, probably the largest in the whole area, next to the garage here. But B over here, you sort of have. There are some pipes over there, and you sort of have 2 of these areas. It's the first one over here. C is north of construction site. You have some pallets, some boxes, there's a blue container, and it's sort of in the middle of that. That's where C is. D is also a good location where you can drop, because there's a Land Rover in front of that building over there. So if you indeed find the pictures, you can pick the Land Rover to go to your locations. And the same goes for I, which is on the harbor here. If your suitcase is there, over here in the corner you will find a Land Rover as well. So you have an option there to get a vehicle immediately. Because if you do find the suitcase, it will be next to it, you will find on the ground. It's always in open air, so pretty easy to and clear weather, so it's pretty easy to see what is on the pictures. You will find 3 pictures, and then you say, oh yeah, okay, then you go to those locations. Not that easy. Because in total there are 26 pictures. So you sort of need to learn what those pictures look like, what do they mean, and here you can see the numbers on the map. Then you have to go check those locations to see where it exactly is that you need to look for it, and where do you find a part of your code. The code goes... you can get like 3 digits with a dash. You can get dash and then 2 numbers and a dash, or you can get a dash and then 3 numbers. So the one that starts with 3 numbers dash, that's the beginning of your code. The one that says dash number dash, that's your middle part, and the one that says dash followed by 3 numbers, that's the end of your code. So you get like 3 numbers, 2 numbers, and 3 numbers, and you sort of put those together, make it an 8-digit code. Number 1 over here is in the security area, and it shows a picture of a satellite dish. It's this building in the security area. If you go there, that's what the building looks like. The satellite dish refers to the thing is on the roof, but that's not where you need to look for your code. The code is under the stairs. In this case, it says -542, so you know this is the end of your code. These numbers are usually there. It's not because you find the number there that, oh, this will be part of the code. No, the numbers show every match on all 26 locations, and these numbers, every single match, they change. So you never know what it is unless you have the pictures. But this is number 1, sorted. Number 2 is a bit trickier. It shows here in the prison, sort of in the small building here next to the big one, let's put it that way. It shows it sort of in the corner, but it's not like, oh, let's go inside this building and find it. Doesn't work like that. You actually have to go in sort of left of number 7. You go in the prison there, and you can go on the first floor. In the you have the cell blocks here. You need to be on the first floor of the cell blocks, and then come all the way here, and you will find a door there. And then you can go in number 2. You go into that door, and then you will find a staircase, which you can see here on the left here. You go down, and under the staircase, you find this machine here, and the code will be on top of it. But the only way to get there is from the other side of the prison, because it's on the first. It's the only way to get on top there of the cell blocks. So that's already a bit of a tricky one. Although it shows here, you have to come from the other side to be able to get there. And then it's sort of on top of that machinery. Number 3 is over here in Decon Zone building. It's on the west side of it, and it is sort of it looks like a blue computer thing, as you can see. But the code is on top of that. Not sure exactly what is next to it. There might be some table or something. You're gonna have to jump on that table, because otherwise you cannot see that code on top there. The code is over there against the wall, just on top. That is in case you get picture number 3. Picture number 4 over here sort of shows a bit of the sky, and in the bottom you see a little bit of a machinery. And that actually is the gondola that goes from prison over here up and down till in between 25, which is sort of the factory, and this red building here on number 11. That's where it sort of starts, the gondola, and it goes up and down the whole time on a cable. And you need to be on top of the gondola if you get picture number 4. And the code is sort of on the construction. Sort of the construction where it sort of holds the cable. So you need to jump on top of it. You can do that from prison roof, or of course if you come from the sky. There are a few options to jump on it. You don't need to be in the gondola, you need to be on top of it. That's where you will find that, in case you get picture number 4. Picture number 5 shows you some sort of board where you have some paper against it. There's a desk on top of that as well, in front of it, and you need to jump on top of that desk to be able to see the code in number 5, which is in the it's over here, sort of in the house south of the factory. That's where you will find that. And you see that board there, and you see the desk. You actually need to jump on the desk because the number is behind, as you can see. So you need to jump on that deck to be able to see these numbers on the wall, because they are behind that little cabin or boxes or whatever it is here in the corner. So you need to do it like that. Number 6 shows you a radiator and a jacket over here, and then there you see some sort of table on the wall, and that is it's actually a picture of a chemical periodic system, and that you will see if you have a closer look here. This is that thing that you see there on that picture, and you can see it from here, or you have this little cabin over here. You can actually jump on there as well, and on the wall again behind the cabin is the code is on the wall there. And this is here in the Biochemical Lab. It's on the 2nd floor that you need to be. So outside you have a stairs here, so you can get to the 2nd floor easy that way. That's number 6. Number 7 shows you some light, and then you have some lockers on the left side, and that is in this corner of prison. Also on the top, it's like the cell block area again, but again you need to go on that stairs to get on the top level, because it's on the top level, and then you can sort of get to that corner over there, and then you eventually end up around here on these lockers. The code is inside those lockers, so you might want to zoom in or use a weapon with some flashlight that you can shine in there, because the code is inside of that locker. In case you have picture number 7, it's a bit tricky. Then we go number 8. It's sort of yeah, there are some two pipes or 2 gas bottles or whatever it is on that picture. And that is over here, more or less in the middle of the chemical engineering building. That's where you will find that one. Also, that one has 2 floors, I think, 3 levels, bottom, 1st floor and 2nd floor. You can see the stairs here, so it's not exactly which floor it is, but it's underneath one of those staircases. You can see the code over here behind the pipe on the wall. So that is in case you have number 8. Number 9. Yeah, number 9 shows you a picture of a ladder, more or less, but it's a bit that's a bit of a confusing one, because it's over here in this little building, sort of northwest of the prison. And if you go inside that little building, you will see that the ladder is sort of on top on the ceiling there. It's not a big building. It's like it's 2 by 2 or so. It's just 1 or 2 people can go in there. I'm not sure why he's facing the ceiling here. This guy who provided us with the pictures. He sort of shared the link, and everybody can find the pictures on that link. Mr. What's his name? Mr. Delic GD, for those familiar with him or his channel. That's the guy that provided the pictures to the community. I'm not sure why he's facing up, because this is one of the codes that I had when I solved it, and that code is nowhere near that ceiling. There is a little table there, or a desk or something. Same story as we had before. You have to jump on the desk, and the code is behind the desk, in case you have number 9. Number 10 is also a bit of a tricky one. It sort of shows you a ventilation system, and it's over here on the harbor, and it's actually outside, as you can see, and you have a couple of these rosters. I think there are 3 of them next to each other, and it's sort of inside where you will be able to find the code. Also here you might need a flashlight to be able to read it, unless you can get underground somewhere and then look up to see if you can see it that way. I don't know, I haven't... I have checked this roster and I couldn't immediately see the code because I didn't have a flashlight on my gun and it's bright daylight outside, so you also have a bit of reflections there. If you get this picture, it might actually be a bit tricky. But it's gonna be on one of the bars here. There are some pipes here as well, so yeah, you need to check around there to see if you can see the code in case you have this picture. It's a bit of a tricky one. But seeing it shows a picture sort of from inside, you sort of see the pipes and the ventilator system there. So it might be possible that if you go through this building that you can go underground in a cellar or so and then check it there. That might be a possibility. Number 11 shows you a few wooden pallets, which is over here in this red building on the map. You have some pallets, there's a box, there's some pallets with a green cloth on it. The lowest pallets pile, you can jump on there and the numbers are on the wall here. Oh, on the wall here behind the box. That is in case you have number 11. Number 12 shows you some sort of computer. You see some red wires, you see some blue wires. It's in that little building over here, next to the red one. This is easier to find. You have the computer with the red and blue wires and the numbers is on top of there on the ceiling. Pretty clear, there is a light next to it, so this one is not that hard to find. Once you find the computer, of course. That is number 12. Number 13 is over here. You have the sort of south of the headquarters. You have the housing area here, you have security area, and it's the largest building in the middle there. If you go in there, I believe it is on the first floor, you will find some bookshelves, and it is on the bottom shelf over there. So you might actually have to crouch or even prone to be able to see that code. In case that is your picture, that's number 13. In case you get number 14, it shows you a desk. There are some papers next to it on the floor. And that is over here in the chemical engineering building. Sort of northeast on the map. If you go in there, that's where you will be able to find it. And the numbers are under the desk. Also here, you're probably going to have to crouch to be able to see it. But it is on a white wall, so it's pretty clear to read. You just have to go down for a second there. Number 15 shows a picture of a double bed, and that is actually over here. And this is the house with the yellow wall. We know that because there's also number 24, which we will come later. Number 15 is obviously inside. I think it's in the first floor, since it's a bedroom. And it shows you the picture of the bed. If you find that bed, you actually have to jump on that bed to be able to see the numbers which are between the ceiling and this closet thing here. That's where you will be able to find them. You have a radiator here, you have the poster on the wall. That's where you will be able to see those. Number 16 shows you a couple of blue barrels, and that is down below here on the shoreline. Not very clear here, but you actually you have some rocks over here. It's west of construction site, and it's actually down below there. You can jump up those rocks. There's a little road here which goes all the way up to that platform, and that's where you will be able to find the blue barrels. And it's behind the blue barrels. You have to jump on the blue barrels. You have some sort of copper pipe over here, and it's behind there, almost on the bottom, that you can find the numbers over there. The barrel is not that easy to find. It's a bit trickier to read down below there the numbers. 17 is over here. This is sort of where the gondola goes up and down. There is there are 2 ladders, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So you have like sort of from the harbor side, you go a ladder, you can turn around, go to another ladder, and then you end up in some sort of office, which is more or less connected to the gondola, which you see here, the structure of the gondola. The thing comes, you see the cable there, the gondola comes there, and it's on the ceiling there, well, sort of on the wall towards the ceiling. That's where you find the code over there. That's number 17. Number 18 is you have chemical engineering over here, and you have the decon zone building. It's sort of in between those two, but it's underground. So what you can jump here from the road. You can jump down in between the road and chemical engineering building. You will find a tunnel there, and you go in there, and then you will find the bed with there are 2 body bags on it. There's a door on it, and yeah, the number itself is very clear. It's just a little bit tricky to get where you need to be, and that is actually under the road. Although it shows a location sort of next to the road, it's underneath. There is some tunnel going here, and that's where you need to be. That is also I had 5, 9, and 18, so this is one of them that I had to figure out as well. 19, yeah, it's not very clear what that exactly is. It shows some barrels. There's a light over here. It shows some white box. Similar story. It shows number 19 in the middle of the prison. It is also underground in a tunnel. I guess the easiest way to get there is over here, sort of in the middle of this rocky area here. You will find an entrance of that tunnel, and you can go inside that tunnel to get into the prison. You can also go from prison itself. There is not sure, I think it's in this corner. There's a staircase where you can actually go down, and then you also end up on the bottom there. It's in that tunnel. It's not that hard to find. If you come from this side, which is sort of northwest of 19 and northeast of 21, in the middle of that thing, there you will find the entrance of the tunnel. If you just go through that tunnel all the way till the end, then you end up coming from there, then you end up here. And you see these white barrels, you just jump on these white barrels and you will be able to see it. That is in case you have number 19. Number 20 shows you pictures of 2 computer screens, and then there is some sort of light shining on it. That is in decon zone building, more on the east side. And it's on the first floor, so you have to go up. You can see the stairs there coming up. You have that blue thing which shows on the picture, and next to it is a little TV, and you will find the code on the wall behind that TV, sort of. That's where you will find number 20. 21 shows you a cement mixer. Yeah, that's a pretty easy one. Construction site. You go into the northeast side of it. There are 2 buildings. So we go over there. Under the staircase is a cement mixer, and behind the cement mixer over there on the wall, there you will find the code, in case you have number 21. Number 22 shows you some sort of green box, and that is actually on the decon zone building. On the left there you have a staircase. It's under the staircase you will find that green box. Also here you have to jump on the box because the code is behind on the wall. That's where you will find the code in case you have number 22. Number 23 is a bit of a confusing picture. It sort of looks like it shows you some sort of wall of a building. It's in security area. This little shack over here, you have to go inside there. And then, yeah, you definitely need to prone for this one because it's all the way here on the bottom, under the bottom shelf of this thing here. underneath, between that shelf and the floor, you see the code over there. So you definitely need to prone here, otherwise there's no way you can read that. That's number 23. 24 is the yellow building over here again. But not this time, not inside, it's outside, and that's why we know it's the building with the yellow, where you can find 15 as well. Because on the outside you have some graffiti, it's a yellow wall. The other buildings have a different color. It's a bit of a tricky one though. It has a ventilation system on the outside, and it's on top of that ventilation system. If you are down below on the road, there's no way you can read that. So there are two options, two possibilities to read this number. Either if you come from the air by your parachute and you just open your parachute and very slowly let yourself come down, and then you will be able, if you're close enough to this wall, you will be able to read it. The other possibility is to go to number 5 over here, to that building. You can jump on the roof, and then there is a chimney. You can jump on that chimney, and if you then have something like a sniper with a sniper scope, you are able to sort of look at that ventilation system for 24, and you will be able to, in your scope, you will be able to read the number. Those are the two options to be able to get 24. 25 shows you some big computer. There are like 7-8 computer screens. Don't confuse it with the red and blue wires, or the blue computer thing here, or the one with 2 screens. There are a few computer things. That's why it's a good idea to check out all these numbers and pictures on location itself, so that you know what's going on. So 25 is sort of in the middle of the factory. You have all kind of computers in that whole factory. You will find these screens all over the place. But what you saw me looking for is those 2 TV screens on the wall, and the number is behind one of these TVs. That's number 25. Then number 26, it shows you a picture of some yellow barrels, and that is in the Biochemical Lab over here on the sort of northeast corner. It has 2 floors, but it is actually in the cellar. If you go on the bottom floor, downstairs, you will also find some yellow barrels. That's where I got stuck a little bit there. I was walking around, I couldn't find that thing. But yeah, you have a staircase going to the first floor, to the second floor, and also to the cellar. So I checked it out eventually. And you go to the cellar, and then you will find this room here with these green and white tiles. You have some yellow barrels there, and then the number itself is actually just on the wall, pretty clear, pretty visible. There is some lights on there, so that's not the problem. The problem is finding the location there. So it is in the cellar. There we go. 26 pictures. We sort of had a closer look, an explanation on where to exactly find and look for the codes. And then of course, yeah, it's quite a lot of work, but it is what it is. It's best if you at least take a look to see if you can find these 26 locations, because you are time pressured in a way, because yeah, it already starts. I don't know if I mentioned it already, but if you see that the circle of your match is hanging around here, forget about it. Leave the match, start searching for a new match till you get a new map. You want to have, it's about this thing here, between 2 and 25. You see these 2 buildings at the headquarters. That's where the yellow door is, where you need to put in the code. It would be ideal if your circle sort of is around here, that you have the headquarters somewhere in the middle of the first circle. The circle is going to get narrower and narrower, but if your headquarters is from the start already in the middle, that's fine. My circle was sort of, I think, just under the lab here. It started and it went sort of around here. So in the first circle, the headquarters was just in the circle. Then, of course, after a while, the circle gets narrower, and then the headquarters was just outside of the circle. So it was still not immediately in the gas. It would be, because the gas comes closer and closer, but I still had time to do it. Because I did not have a ideal route. I checked in the pre-match, I checked A location, the suit was not there, so I knew, okay, suitcase not there. The match started, so I dropped in on I, which is just under 14 here. Location I, it was not there, it was not in H, it was not in G, it was not in F or E. I took the ATV, I checked C, D, and eventually around just under 16 here, that's where location B is, sort of over here on the map. That's where eventually my suitcase was. And then I got pictures 5, 9, and so it sort of showed me the yellow board, the ladder thing, and the bed with the 2 body bags. But I still had that ATV, so I sort of came from here. And what I actually did was I drove to 18 first, because I knew I had to go underground there through the tunnel, and I checked that number first. Then I went back on the ATV, and I just drove over. I think I actually went over here next to the prison, because over here, this triangle here is a very dangerous triangle. There are always people camping in the chemical lab, in the chemical engineering building, in the decon zone. There are always fights going on there. So if you go over this road, that's already tricky. It is a battle royale. They try to shoot you. Don't ever forget that when you're doing this, because otherwise you might be in problem. So I checked 18. I went through here, and then I went to 9, which is inside that little shack. I followed the road all the way here to number 5. I did the number there, and then I could just by stairs going up all the way to the headquarters, and I could open the door with the code that I had. What I also noticed, like for instance, my code was 321-12342. Were only 4 different numbers. It was 321 and then 1 time 4. I did a few other attempts, and then one time I got a code which was something like 66866. So then it only used like 2 numbers. But there I had the problem that I needed to go to 26, and I couldn't get there anymore, because the circle was going around this area, and 26 was immediately in the gas, sort of almost from the beginning of the match. So I couldn't get to, I needed to get to the yellow barrels, I couldn't get to it. So I did not have the 3 last parts. Now, of course, I knew my code was going to start with 66866, but I didn't know the last 3 numbers. You can, of course, in theory, you could try to go to the door and type in that code, but then you need the 3 last numbers, which means you have 1,000 possibilities. You could try to type them in. I tried a few. I did that eventually. I went to the yellow door because I couldn't get to 26 anymore, and I just typed in some random numbers at the end. So I always started with 66866 and then tried 3 different numbers. But yeah, that would have been way lucky if I opened the door that way. So it starts with, to summarize it all, first of all, you need to find the suitcase. It's one of these 11 locations that the suitcase will spawn in. Every match it will spawn in somewhere. So you have to go look to these areas and see where the suitcase spawns. Obviously, if you can combine this with some teammates, then you can divide the work a bit. Somebody can check A, K, and J. Another guy does B, C, D, E line, and then the other guy F, G, H, I. You should be able to find the suitcase. Yeah, you might lose some time there if there are some guys that don't know what you're on about. If it's just about finding the suitcase, yeah, then you have to meet all 3 there and see what goes on. If of course you know about the locations, you can get a pretty clear. Either you just give the numbers to your teammates. That's also a way. You can have this picture on a second screen. Then you can just say, okay, it's this picture, and that picture. And then if your teammates also have these pictures, yeah, then it's not a problem. Then you can find it. Or you need to find the locations. And then of course you can, if you have 3 pictures, you have 3 teammates, yeah, then it's pretty simple. Each and one of you goes to a certain location, get your part of the code, and then you meet up in the headquarters, and everybody types in their part of the code, and the door will open. And then you can pick up the blueprint, drop it back, second guy picks it up, drop it, third guy picks it up, and all three have the blueprint, and you have solved the Easter egg. But yeah, it starts with the circle. If the circle is on the northeast side, just leave the match and start again, because you will never be able to get to the headquarters. Because you have to find the suitcase, then you have to look at your 3 pictures, then get there. In my case, it was kind of okay, because I had like 1895, and then I was immediately in the headquarters, so I had a pretty decent line. But you can find the suitcase, let's say on number A here, location A, and then you need to go 17, and then you need to go 6, and then you need to go 21, or something in that order. Yeah, then you're gonna have to drive around that island a little bit, and then come back to 21 to headquarters to open the door. So I think you have to always start from the moment that your headquarters is inside the first circle. If your headquarters is not there, just forget about it. You're gonna be running against time, and you're gonna come too late to headquarters. Even if you have like, because what I've noticed is, we tried it a few times. Yeah, you're not gonna get something like location. Let's see. You have location J. You find the which is sort of that road goes under this building. There's some sort of tunnel there, and that's where you need to find the suitcase. So what's not going to happen is you're not going to find suitcase on location J, and then you're going to get, oh, I'm going to get 11, 12, and 10. No, that's not going to happen. These pictures will always be one on this side of the map, one on that side of the map, and one on that side of the map most of the time. So you're always going to have to run around a bit on that island. You're not going to get 3 very close to each other. I think best I had was like I had 20 and 22 in one of my runs. I think I had 20, 22, and 17 or so. So it was not, that was kind of okay. But the problem I had that much was that the circle was around here, and the headquarters was almost immediately, let's say a minute or two into the match, headquarters was in the gas. So I couldn't solve the code. The other time I had 2 numbers and I couldn't get to 26 because that was in the guess. So it's best that you get some pictures which are more or less inside the middle of the circle. Then you have more time to get there, and especially if you have to be inside, if you have to do 2 or 7 inside prison, there's always going to be some trouble. This area is very fought, because you have you don't immediately see it on the picture here, but you have quite some elevation going on here. So which means that in all these buildings over here, there are snipers looking at security area, which is sort of harbor area. In the harbor itself, in these buildings, there are always people camping around. There's always a fight around for this helicopter around here. Sort of similar here, prison. People are standing on the roof, they are camping, and they are sort of looking at construction. They are looking at those buildings, this helicopter platform. This area is like, yeah, that's mayhem always there. It's like there are people dropping in from the beginning of the map. They put themselves there on the first and second floor, and they start sniping anything that is on decon zone or chemical engineering or the road to go with it. So it's this area, this triangle of these 3 buildings sort of. Yeah, that's a mess. That's always a mess. And eventually, if you have solved all this, you need to go to, obviously, let's start it up. I will show you where you eventually need to go. The yellow doors, in case people haven't found that. What you could do, of course, is you could always try to get in at the end of the match to that building and see if somebody solved the puzzle and opened the door. Now, that does not guarantee you that you're going to find the blueprint, because yeah, if you go there with a team, the first guy picks up the weapon, he drops it. The second guy picks up the weapon, he drops it. The third guy will pick up the weapon and he will take it with him. He's not going to drop it back on the table for other people to come in and pick it up for all the work that they have done. That's how it goes. The last guy will always take away, or they will defend the room that was the same in the stadium Easter egg or something like that, or even in the metro station. This is the security area. As you can see, it is lower compared to ground level here. And then you have the big tower over here, and over here you have this house. You have these stairs here, you can jump through this window, that's the easiest way to get it. And then you end up on this yellow door. And this is where you need to type in the 8-digit code. If you feel lucky, you can come here and type in 8 random digits. But as you can see, even in the pre-match, they're already shooting you through the window there.
Enemy dropping into the AR. Stop warming up. Stand by for deployment to the Warzone.
So, you open your map. This would actually be a very good Easter egg round, because the circle is here, headquarters is like in the middle of the circle. That's like perfect. Gives you enough time to do whatever. The only problem is we don't know where the suitcase is.
Battle Royale. Mark a drop point for your team. You'll lead them in. Be advised,
So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go A. The suitcase is not here. You can run through, try to avoid all people, and try to get into this thing which is already gone. Self-revive, get shot again. You see what I mean? This is a problem. And our whole team is dead, which is a double problem. Which means game over. This gives you a pretty brutal idea of how it can go. The suitcase was not on A, but that doesn't tell. Because our game was over, so now the suitcase can be on A, because we start a new game now. I'm not gonna do this Easter egg here, because I already have the blueprint, but I just want to show you sort of where the locations are for the suitcase. So we dropped on A, which is between the container and the ocean, I guess it is. It's water at least. I'm assuming it's some sort of ocean. It's not very clear. This island is sort of Alcatraz from some of the previous Black Ops games. Or Blackout, or some sort of Call of Duty related game which has a map which called Alcatraz. Now they called it Rebirth Island. They changed a few buildings here and there, but in general the map is sort of a copy of that, probably some reused assets and stuff like that as well. So we'll go A again, just to make sure. Security area, you see that green platform, you see this tower over here. So what you can do in a pre-match is you can put yourself under here. The box will spawn here, sort of in the middle. So we can just sit it out here and see if it spawns here. If it spawns, then we know it will be in this game. If it doesn't spawn, then we know we don't have to check the security area, and we can immediately go to some other more better lines. See if it spawns in.
Playtime's over, mate. You're going to the Warzone.
Nope. The box did not spawn in, so we know it's not on A. what we're gonna do now is we're gonna drop on B. Again, a very good circle. Headquarters is in the middle, so B is over here. So I'm gonna put my marker there. It's gonna be a fight, unfortunately, because the plane flies over here with the 45 people in there. So you're gonna have a few dropping in here. But you can see it from the sky though. If the box is here, it is over here, it's not here, so we can immediately run through and go to C. Which is already a problem. Getting shot from there. Here you have the cement mixer, by the way. Here in between. That's number C, but it's not here. Location C. So we're gonna go to D, which is also not a bad drop location because you have a Land Rover over here. And I think you get the idea. The suitcase is here. And we're not the only ones. Want to get it. So we died. That a problem? Not really if you randomize or go in with friends. It will be a problem if our mate over here doesn't stay alive for another few seconds. But he does, so that's fine. We spawn back in and we know the suitcase is on D. We also know there's a team there. That's a bit of a problem. So, what do we get? We got the gondola, number 4. We got the bookshelf. And we got the computer with the light. So, what do we got? We got the computer with the light, which is number 20. We got the gondola. And we got the bookshelf, which is number 13. So we have 4, 13 and 20. 20s are gonna be our problem. 4 and 13 is kinda okay. 13 is in this building. And number 4... Can't even see it. Oh yeah, 4 is the gondola. Yeah, of course. So 24 and 13. So we're gonna try to get to 20. Which is in here. Go to the left and you need to be upstairs. In that second room, basically. Run to the end here. You have this thing here. We have -15 dash. So we know the middle is 15. Thank you. And my teammate is dead, so it's game over. But that gives you an idea how this goes. So we know that the middle part was 15. We have to be on top of the gondola, which give us another part. Then we go to the building. We could actually solve this with the circle that we had. We could have done this. So we did 20. We know that the middle was 15. We have the gondola, which was over here. We just had to jump on top of that gondola. That would give us another part of the court, either the beginning or the ending. And then we had to go to the house here, which is 13. Go to the bookshelf, and then go to headquarters and open the door with the 8 digits. And we actually could have done this in this. If we had 2 mates, I only had 1 teammate, and he also died. So then the game is over. But it sort of gives you an idea. I will put a link to the 3 pictures, as well this map, as all the pictures with the numbers, as well as the in-game pictures, how it looks like, where you need to look for the code, and everything else we have explained. And that sort of explained the Easter egg picture by picture, although yeah, I went over 26 pictures. You're only gonna get 3, as you could see on the suitcase. But yeah, that is the way it is. You need to know the 26 locations, because you never know which pictures you are going to get. 3 you will get, and 3 together will make 8 numbers, which will open the yellow door. I showed you the yellow door, I showed you sort of how it works, and we showed you all the locations. A bit of a problem, I had to find these pictures and look for it, so I thought I'll do a video on it for those interested. Yeah, it's an hour of explanation, but if you have to go look and have a look on all those locations and check it out, I've done it on a stream, just checking out the locations, and I think we've done about 3 hours, because the pictures not always clearly show where exactly to find the code, so you have to look around that room and you're checking all over the place to see where is actually the thing that is on the picture, which is also not always very clear, or how to get there. And that's sort of why I gave you some extra information, like for instance with number 2. You have to come from the other side of prison, because it's the only way to get on the top level, for instance. Anyway, that was it. We have the red room blueprint, because that is where it all goes about. You open that door. Some people will find it too much trouble, but other people are into solving these puzzles and such, and try to figure it out. If I can find it. It's an SMG. And it sort of disappeared. Oh, here it is. Jesus. Too many blueprints. Eventually you can pick up this thing if you can open the yellow door. It's the only way, at least for now and probably forever. It will be one of those blueprints that you can never get unless you open the yellow door on Rebirth Island. Sort of similar that you had with the Bunker 11 MP7 and the Bruin in the metro station, and the what was it in the stadium? The CR56, I think it was there. But yeah, it is the solving the puzzle, and so which makes it interesting, at least for some people. Other people are totally not interested in that, but some people don't know how to do it. That is also not that interesting, so that's why we have videos like this. Anyway, we're gonna leave it here, because we're already going towards an hour explaining the Easter egg on Rebirth Island, more or less, and then giving you some more information where to find them exactly. That will be it. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope it helped some of you. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.